What's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be installing hood pins on our Dodge Challenger. Could be Hellcat. Mine's a Hellcat in this case. So we got the hood here. It doesn't matter what hood you have, whether it's the Demon hood or if it's the Hellcat hood, you know, just a regular RT hood, whatever hood it is, it's going to be the same process. So I got the kit here. We're going to jump straight into it. I'll link it down below for you guys. This kit is identical to the OEM one. The only difference is that it doesn't say Mopar right here, but everything else is the same. The hardware looks the same. We got stainless steel pins and it's a fraction of the cost. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it with you guys. Everything looks identical. Even the little plastic hardware that holds your cable ties in place looks the same. So let's get into it. Let's pop the hood. I'll show you guys how we're gonna get it done and we'll get straight into it. Okay, so once you pop the hood, you're gonna take out these two plastic shields. They just pop out. They got little speed clips on the back, so just pop those guys out. We'll set them off to the side. We will have to be drilling holes through those as well to allow the hood pins to come out. And then it's gonna be this bolt here and then this clip right here. So this one I've already kind of got it popped out. So use one of these clip tools like this to get it out. It's just gonna make your life easier. So pop that out and then pop that center out, and then we'll undo this. It's a 10 mil bolt. All right, so once you got the 10 mil removed and your push pin removed, you're gonna come over here and you're gonna slip this in like this. So this goes underneath your bumper like that, then you can put your push pin back in, and then this one, you could put it on top of the fender bracket if you want to, but I'm choosing to go underneath fender bracket and then put my fender bolt back in. And then here is the pin. I haven't put the locking nut on it. That hardware is still over there, but you can kind of see how she's gonna look. All right, so we've got them on here and that's how they look. So tighten down the 10 mil bolts. In my opinion, pick where you guys want to put this. It's also kind of, I just noticed this knockout here so you can still adjust your headlights. Pretty cool that they improvise that. But pick where you want to put this. So what I did was, once I had the bolts loose, I slid them all the way towards this corner. So I pulled them like this way because there's a little bit of play. And then I did the same thing on this one. While everything was still loose, I slid it this way a little bit just to give me a hopefully a symmetrical pattern on here. And then what I did was I just completely screwed them all the way in. I've got my lock nut adjusters here all the way top, but I bottomed them out because if you leave them loose, see how there's a little bit of play in the threads? So I just put them all the way tight. That way it's got a little bit more stability on that portion there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit of paint marking here, and then we're gonna close the hood. It should land somewhere around here. So just after this kind of bubbled edge here, it should land right about there. So we'll mark it on both sides. We'll put paint on here, drop the hood down. It should give us a spot for where we need to drill the hole. And then we can drill those holes. All right, so I got a yellow paint marker here. I'm just gonna put it on the very tip here on both of them, and then we'll set it down. Set it down. There we go. We got two perfect marks. So I'll show you guys. One is right there. Other one is right there. Looks good. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna drill the hole up. I've seen some people put some pretty excessive holes in these. You can see there, it might be about 3/4 of an inch. So maybe a 1-inch hole is what I'm thinking. You can always move this around later. I've seen some people do like, it looks like almost 2-inch holes, but these things are pretty big. They're probably 2 3/4, but I don't think we need to make a massive hole in the hood. So let me get to drilling and show you guys what we got. All right, so the grommets actually look like they're probably about 1 inch. So I've got two different step bits here. This one goes up to 7/8. This one goes up to 1 inch and 3/8. Probably gonna go up to about 1 inch because that looks like kind of the rough estimate of what this grommet wants to see. And these grommets, one goes through the plastic on the bottom here, and then one goes on the underside over here. So kind of just get those into place over here. So there we go. We'll drill our pilots and go from there. All right, so I've got this actually welding blanket just laid about here because that way all of the metal that we end up drilling doesn't fall into our engine bay, and especially on this red eye Demon style filter here, just so it doesn't all go in there. So we're gonna drill the holes. We got them marked. I actually double checked too. You guys can as well. I would recommend double check your measurements. So I measured from here, the edge of the hood to there, and then from here down so that they're symmetrical on both sides, because last thing you'd want is your pin to be a little bit wonky looking on the top. So everything checks out. It's both the same on both sides. So we're good to go. Let's drill. right, there's one. And before I drill through the second layer, I'm gonna set it back down, make sure that it goes directly in the hole that we just put. All right, so I went through the top there, and if you have to make any adjustments, do it on the bottom side, because there's obviously a big rubber grommet that's gonna hide it. Also on the top too, and because you're also drilling on this curved spot, so your drill bit can have a tendency to walk a little bit, even though I center punched it. So I double checked, ended up moving over just a tiny bit just so that I still remained. And then what you're gonna do is just square up your drill and then go through the top. So that way you know where you're at on the top. So there's our mark there. This hood has to get repainted. I tried to get it painted by somebody and it was supposed to be matte black, and it ended up being this orange peeled gloss black. So that's why I'm doing this now, is that way it can all get painted and whatnot. I'm still gonna do some touch-up paint on this anyways. You know, the hood's aluminum, it shouldn't, don't really have to worry about it rusting necessarily. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and now we can start using the step bit and we'll start just drilling through. So probably go from the top down here. That way we can center ourselves on this. It'll be a little bit easier to drill on. And yeah, start getting this underway. All right, I know I did say I was going to use a step bit, but I do also have these metal hole saws. So you can't use a wood hole saw. I mean, you could try, but I wouldn't recommend it. So you can get these. I'll link these down below. I just pulled up the Mopar instructions. It actually says to do 1 1/4 inches. And this kit looks to be everything that a Mopar kit is. So I'm going to use this. Reason being is that when you have this, it keeps it centered, whereas when you use a step bit, it can have a tendency to walk. So as it goes through each step, this can walk pretty substantially. I've seen it before. So these make a nicer, cleaner hole. So I might end up cleaning the hole up with this, but I am going to use the hole saw. So if you're wondering the difference on the two, both will get it done, but just know that sometimes these can walk a little bit. So your hole might not end up being exactly where you thought it was going to be. So anyways, we're going to grab this. I'm going to put some masking tape on here, and then we can send this down. So grab something to set your hood on, just so you got a little bit of room to work with. And then you can see here, I've kind of got myself ready. Haven't started doing it yet, but we got it taped up, and now we're going to go through. There she is. So I'm just going to proceed to go down, because this is exactly where we need it, and I'm still on the pilot on the bottom side. Alright, there she is. Alright, so there you go. Nice clean hole all the way through. So I might use a step bit on this. I'm going to see. I've got a deburring tool. See how it cleans up. Make a few passes on it, and then still got to do the other side, but that is the procedure. So one more to go. All right, so I just went ahead and blew off all the metal shavings. And then what I got here is just one of these cheap little brushes. Got some of this satin black paint here. I'm going to go ahead and just run it around my edges, just so we don't have exposed metal. All right, so I went ahead and ran touch-up paint in there, even though I know it makes zero difference, because if you guys look in there, you'll see that the inside of the hood is just bare aluminum anyways. But anyways, did that, so I'm gonna let that dry, but we're pretty much good to go there. And then we can put our grommets in here. We'll double check it, and then we gotta drill those plastic covers next. Other thing you'll want to do is there's going to be a ton of shavings in your hood, especially if you have one of these hoods that your intake pulls from. Yeah, you definitely want to get all these out. So I'm just getting in here, getting all these shavings out. That way they don't end up stuck to my air filter later, or possibly worse. All right, so we got our grommets in. Everything's looking real good. And then what I did is I just unscrewed the pin, put this in place, and what you can see there is we got to drill a hole there. You can try to feel around for it. You can kind of see it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this back up, and I'm just going to take a smear of grease, put it around the top of there where we have to drill, and then look for the grease mark. It looks like it's going to be right where that Chrysler symbol is and next to that peg. So let's see what it ends up being. All right, and the little grease smear idea worked perfectly. So you can see there, it's right in the middle of all of that factory writing there. So let's go ahead and drill the hole, and we can put the grommet in. Now I can work from the other side now that I got my hole, and the step bit works perfectly fine for this, you guys. Double check where we're at, just in case we want to make any adjustments. Pretty dang close, you guys. Can maybe drift just a hair that way if I want, but it really just depends how much we tuck this in here. But overall, should be good. So I'm gonna drift it just a tiny bit up, but we were like bang on the money right there. I don't know, you guys. It almost looks so good that I might not make a big, huge hole and just leave it like that. Like, that is perfectly good looking, just using that method. So I might opt to not use the rubber grommet, up to you guys, but I think that looks pretty dang good. All right, using the grease method on this side too. So we got the grease there, and I'm just gonna carefully put the tabs in here like that, and then I'm gonna lay it down like this so that I can feel it touch, and then we're gonna lift it back up. And there we go, you can see our little half circle deal there. So pretty much in the same spot. Okay, same thing again, just double check where you're at. So in my case, I want to drift a little bit this way, so we'll do that as well. Look at that, I got it perfect on this side, so a little bit of practice. But still happy with this side. Like I said, I'm gonna rock it without the grommets. I think it looks a little bit better, but you guys do as you wish. And then what we gotta do next is two things. We gotta get those pucks on the top, the little protective pucks, and then we also have to run our cables. So pop this back out of here. The cable screw or the holding thing is there, and then we can float it through here somewhere wherever we wish and get it up so that the cable can come across. All right, you guys know this is gonna be all personal preference, but here's where I routed mine. There's a little gap right here between the headlight and the front bumper grill, I guess you can call it. So I'm coming out right through here. I was gonna bring it out next to the headlight, but I'd rather not block my headlight or have like a weird pattern if this happens to be like in front of my headlight going down the road. So putting it here, and then you do have to kind of wind it. So if the hood pin's gonna be there, that's kind of how mine's gonna lay down. So that's what I'm gonna try for now. I might mess with it more later, but let me know in the comments how you guys route yours. Be interested to see. All right, so this is the part where you would clean off the hood. You would take off your double-sided tape and put these on finally, but like I said, I'm probably gonna get this repainted, so I just put on some temporary, just two-sided tape because I don't want to take off the actual stuff just yet until I'm 100% ready to go. But anyways, you'll notice I've got these bottomed out, and you can see here that it is kind of a little tight. So I'm gonna turn this out one on each side. Might actually be able to do it from here since I didn't tighten the jam nut too much. So kind of get where you got a little bit of pressure on here, but not too excessive. So maybe right there. So I did a couple revolutions out. And also once you compress the foam on the bottom, that's gonna give you a little bit also. So let's see, maybe a little bit more. So just mess with it, you guys, to where you're happy with the amount of pressure that's being applied on your hood. And then you should be good to go. And then we can test it when we put the pin in. All right, that looks pretty cool. So all there is left to do is just tighten our jam nuts underneath. So let's get that done. All right, so the jam nuts are tight on both sides. Now we can put this back down and she is pretty much done. All right, you guys. So you might have to play with flipping the cables just so that they are like wound the correct way. So I have mine kind of wound so that they're facing inwards, but you will have to play with flipping them upside down and getting that all properly. But other than that, she is in. So thanks for watching, guys. If you found this helpful or informative, give it a thumbs up. Check out the other videos on the channel. We've got Hellcat swap Dodge Dakotas, got my Z06 Corvette that we take to the road course, and then up there we've got a Hellcat swapped Ram 1500 with over 1,000 horsepower. So all kinds of stuff on this channel. Also, we fully built this Hellcat. It was burnt down and we built it from the ground up. So if you guys are into Hellcat stuff, Challenger stuff, check it out, subscribe. Catch you guys on the next video. And I will link everything down below for you guys. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys on the next video.